It's another episode of Wearable Today, episode number 77, Kernel Stack in Page Error. I'm Jeffrey Powers, and we're getting ready to talk about wearable technology. Today we're going to be talking about the universities. They're starting to look at how watches can actually play on tests and stuff like that. Who else is going to be banning some of these wearables so you can't use them while you're in class or taking tests and anything like that? We also got we got top 10 gadgets. We've also got Luxy Research. Google's got a new product for FCC approval. The GoPro came out with a new version, a whole bunch more. All of this on Wearable Today, episode 77. Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers here from Geekazine, Think Magazine, Put in a Geek. And you've got Wearable Today, as they all go. So, and welcome to the show. It's on a special Tuesday night. And, you know, it was like this holiday weekend, and Jennifer and I were on a trip, and we were coming back late Monday. I didn't realize it, so I called up Luke, and I said, hey, Luke. I'm sorry. So I called up Luke, and I said, hey, Luke, can you do this on Tuesday? And Luke said,
who is this? What is this about? I'm sorry, I'm not interested tonight. But thanks for calling. Oh, it's you, Jeffrey. Yes, yes. Tuesday is fine. Tuesday is fine.
Would you like to buy some wearable technology?
Yeah, I'd like to buy some wearable technology. You want my credit card?
We got special on wearable technology. It's this beautiful handset that you put up against your ear and you talk into, and all of a sudden I'm sounding Irish. So
I like that.
It's
I like
green.
that phone. That's nice and green.
Thank you very much. I got it at a conference. So, Luke, why don't you tell everybody about yourself?
So, my name is Luke. I like long walks on the beach. Oh wait, you mean like social network type stuff?
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. So you can email me for this show, luke@wearabletoday.com, or if you want to reach out to me on Twitter, it's @LukeLuca. That's LukeLuca. Or you can find me on Google+. That's google.com/plus Luke Wallace. Just had our 4-year anniversary over on Google+. So.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Right. Yeah. Do you feel 4 years old?
You know, yeah, I'm acting 4 years old, so that's pretty close, right? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I remember I was in on the early beta, and Hangouts were the big thing, and we used to go like late at night and all these Hangouts, and then we'd bounce from one to the other until they started getting really filled up really quick. So, but yeah, I remember the good old days. Heck, in those days when there was good Hangouts.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it was a big deal. I mean, group video chat, like, that's still
now,
fairly uncommon. So.
Yeah, now it's group video chat podcast.
Yeah, I know. Now we're live streaming all over the world. It's amazing.
Yeah. Welcome to everybody in Singapore, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in Singapore, welcome. Although it says 0 viewers right now. So, anyway, let's get off of those 0 viewers and let's talk about our big news, little arms. Nice. I don't have the first article set up already.
I got it. I can start talking about it. So, do you think wearable tech is a new idea? Well, then you should visit the Computer History Museum in Mountain View and check out their new exhibit titled On You, A Story of Wearable Computing. Taken mostly from the personal collection of Thad Starner, the exhibit has over 20 years of history from the research and consumer fields. You'll have to act quickly, though. This exhibit will be moving on after September 20th. If you want to read more, it's over at mercurynews.com.
Where's it going? Do you know?
No, they haven't said. Possibly back in that guy's closet.
Okay. It would go back in my closet, too, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So. All right, well, Lux Research is reporting that Samsung is leading in the wearable market, at least in patent submissions, because they're not doing too good on their smartphones. They just came out with a report that the S6 and S6 Edge not doing too well. People don't understand that whole side thing or whatever. So, with 4% of all wearable patents, they are beating Qualcomm at 3%. And Apple, who only has 2.2% of the patents out there. May sound like small numbers, but with over 41,000 patents filed in wearable technology, this is hundreds of patents for major players. And of course, you know, they're the big patents. They're not like little patents like how to push a button or something like that. So other interesting stats on that, 10% of the patents deal with health monitoring, and 11% are in consumer communication applications. So we're talking billions if not trillions of dollars by 2020.
Up next, Google has a new product that's going through FCC approval, and some are theorizing it's the new version of Google Glass. It has the FCC ID of A for R GG1, and the device is being kept very confidential, with most of the details about how it works being hidden. One interesting note, the FCC label is only shown in software on the device, and there's a screenshot in the public documentation. If you look at it, it looks an awful lot like the interface for Google Glass, that same 16:9 ratio with white on black. And with a moniker of GG1, many are hopeful this will be the consumer version that has been rumored for several months now that we've been talking about.
Yeah. And you know, another thing that's happened is YouTube has started showing their 144p again. So maybe this is another version of Google Glass. Never know. Anyway, let's move on from there. It's GoPro. I can do that same thing. I just need, let me see. I got this thing right here. Did I look like the picture? Let's go back to the picture.
Not quite. A few subtle spotted differences there. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, GoPro unveiled the new Hero 4 Session, a camera that's half the size of the GoPro Hero and an in black enclosure. The camera features a one-button on option. So instead of, if you have a GoPro, you had to double press the button to turn it on and then press the button to get the camera started. You first had to go to settings to make sure that the video camera was on as opposed to the photo camera. It was just a mess. But anyway, you basically press the button once, and the camera goes on, and it's of course it's a smaller thing, so it means that more places you can set the camera. So, Luke, did you see the latest episode of Transformers, the latest movie, the one with Mark Wahlberg?
No, I have not.
Okay, it's on Netflix.
Okay.
Watch it. It's boring as all hell. Watch it anyway. Towards the end, towards that final fight scene, you're going to see, they're out in some sort of industrial yard of some sort, you're going to see one of the scenes where something's getting destroyed, and you're going to see the shadow of a GoPro passing by. Watch for it. So you'll know that's high quality there. Anyway, the new so these little cameras, they'll be smaller, so you'll see less of a shadow. That's the whole point. They can do up to 1080p, 60 frames a second right now, but I bet you they'll have firmware updates that'll probably increase that, like with the other Heroes. It'll cost you $399. So the best price is just the Hero 4, the $129 version. The Silver's also, no, I think that's $399 as well. And then, of course, the Hero 4 Black is $499. So check that all out over at, we've got that over at Forbes.com.
And finally, we've got some original content over at WearableToday.com. It's the top 10 wearable tech gadgets of 2015. So we highlight what's breaking through in 2015. So what not only is what is out, but what will be coming out. And we have everything from watches to bike helmets, earphones, and more. Lots of references in there for all the stats, and so great infographic that is over on the Wearable Today site.
Where is that Wearable Today site?
It's at wearabletoday.com.
All right, there you go. All right, let's move on. Let's go over to our special segment called FundaMe. And let me pull that up there. There we go. Let's bring that over here. Oh, here we go. Check this out. Oh, yeah, that's right. You pulled up the app, didn't you? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I forgot the soundboard.
That's okay. That's okay. Give me money. Money, 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 money. Money. Anyway, check out Doppel is a human response to rhythm. I spelled rhythm wrong in the show notes here. So anyway, through a tactile beat, it will help you stay focused when you need to and wind down to keep calm. You can even adjust as you go. So it's basically this little wearable that you wear on your wrist. And you kind of, when you're in when you need to keep more focused, you set a pace or something like that. I don't know if it's electroshock or something like that, but it definitely will send a pulse, and that way you can keep going. Like right now, if I really needed to keep going, I could tap that and just keep going, and just like this, go like this and like this. But then when I needed to really relax and kind of chill, maybe you're going Dancing with the Stars or something like that. You got to keep relaxed during that show, and so you just you set the dial to a slower pace, and you go from there. It's no similar to what I talk about with podcasters that want to slow down their pace when they talk, to put out a metronome and to kind of give them a pace to set so they can slow things down by watching that. The same idea here, but of course they're implementing it into a wearable device, and I might just use that for something like podcasting. Amazing little device here, and I'll scroll down a little bit on it. As you can see, there's the watch, and I think do they have to wear it like that, Luke? Did you read anything about that?
It looked like you could wear it on, either the top or the bottom of your wrist. That may have just been where they wanted to put it for that picture.
Okay.
I think there's some other pictures that show it on top of the wrist.
Okay. But it's a UK company. It's over. It's about $79. There's one. That must be the European way to wear a watch, I suppose. About $70, $109 in the United States. There's 9 days left to go, and they're getting pretty close to making that happen. So, yeah, everybody's got it wearing on their insides of their wrists.
Maybe that's just where it works better. I don't know.
Well, that's where it makes sense, because that's where your veins are, and best contact to that. So, yeah, and they're even showing it in the in this little graphic right here. So. You stroke it to slow the beat, you press to raise the beat, and you rotate to change the intensity. So if you want to get super shocked or something like that, you like that, you just turn it up and go from there. So pretty interesting stuff. Do you think that would work for you? Do you get super excited when you're on The Price is Right and you need to figure out the Showcase Showdown or something like that?
No, I'm pretty good.
Okay. Is that how you if I was I was going to say Bob Barker. I know it's not Bob Barker. If I was Drew Carey and I said, "All right, here you go. This is a 4-port USB hub. How much would you pay for this 4-port USB hub, Luke?"
$1.
Is that your final answer? Oh wait,
I don't think that's how that show works. But yeah, I'd probably go with $1 on that one, because I bet everybody else would bid like, ooh, $40, ooh, $80, and it's like, it's closer to like $20, maybe $50.
The answer is $2,464. You lost.
Was it diamond encrusted or something?
Yeah. No. This was, I think this was $6 on Amazon.
Yeah. So. No, it's nice. I've actually been looking for a USB hub.
Oh yeah,
that's a little off topic. So
they got a lot of them over on Amazon. Go to Amazon to check that out.
So I will. So to answer your question seriously, I think this would actually be a pretty good idea. I mean, their concept is it helps you kind of slow down your heart rate, because you've got this slower beat, kind of vibration going on, and it just helps keep you calm and keeps you from just getting all amped up when you need to be relaxed. And vice versa, like you're out running and you need something to kind of keep pushing you. And they said it's very much like music, with a high beat, keeping you going. So, it's something I could definitely see the use for. One thing that I would caution them about is, if you wear it like that on your wrist, people are going to think that it's showing them the time. Like there's going to be this instinctive, it is a watch, I will look at it to see what time it is. Oh wait, this does not have a clock on it. I will be very upset, because now I have to go look somewhere else for the time. Yeah,
like I did with the Misfit, which then we found out it actually did have a clock on it.
So something like this could work since you wear it on the bottom of your wrist, maybe they should have a form factor, and I didn't see one on the website, maybe they've got one, where it can be a strap for another watch, where you could have a watch on top and then have this on the bottom, and it would be sitting there. So you kind of have a watch on both sides of your wrist, but one is just for this vibration and the other is your actual watch. So I think that might make it more appealing to people who already wear a watch. Because if you don't, then this works. But if you already wear a watch, you're like, well, now I have to give up my watch to get this thing. So That'd
Well,
be my idea.
yeah, but they already have they already have a wearable band that is wearable technology, so that you could buy that band for that watch, or we shouldn't call it a watch, we would call it a wrap. Well, for that wrap, so it does their little electro pulse thing on that side, and then you'd actually have a watch on this side. So you wouldn't go without a watch, but it's not a bad idea. Maybe Doppel should work with this other company. Let's just call them Ganger now, and then you got a doppelganger.
Yeah. No, that's a great idea. I love
Yeah.
the ganger.
What?
So this is what they should do as their second thing, or team up with, like you said. What was the one you had, the
Oh, the Misfit?
yeah, the Misfit.
Okay.
It had fit in it, but yeah, something like that where you have the Misfit on one side and the Doppel on the other, so that you can get the advantages of both. Because right now it seems like you're either gonna have to wear one on one wrist and one on the other.
Yeah, because the Misfit, and you have the Misfit and Fit. Well, Misfit does the time, but that's also the bands are removable, so you could actually have something created so that you can put that on there and have two watches. So the one thing that I always get concerned about when you start talking about pulsing into, especially in the veins, is how that reacts with how it's reacting with your heart to begin with. I mean, that's going to have to be something FDA approved, I would guess, because if somebody suffers from some sort of arrhythmia, you can't wear a wearable like that. I would guess, because
I'm not sure.
Yeah, if you wore a wearable like that, you'd probably put yourself in some sort of heart attack. Now, I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV, so I don't know for certain. But I would guess that there's something some sort of issues about that need to be addressed and go from there. So good thing it's over at the UK.
Yeah.
So does Birdie have anything to talk about?
No, Birdie's being pretty quiet tonight. Don't know.
What can you do?
Don't know why.
All right.
Maybe she's just not used to this Tuesday night. She's like, well, this is a little different.
Yeah, this is very different. So, all right. Well, let's move on from there. Let's go over to our next segment. It's called the Apple Watch. It needs to explode or something.
Yeah, I don't have anything like that.
All right. Let's move over to the Apple Watch. Tinder's new watch app is going to do a little bit more than find your next date. This is going to include a heart rate monitor to try and match via your reaction. So if you're looking at a photo and your heart rate increases, it will mark it as a match. Of course, if it doesn't, if it's then it's not going to mark it as a match. So the app is coming soon. It's not only going to be out for Apple Watch, but it's also going to be available for the Android Wear. There. Android Wear. So interesting stuff. This is using the new Apple Watch SDK. Is that what? Did you catch like that, or am I reading that wrong?
I didn't catch which it is. It probably does, just to be able to tap into the heart rate monitor and provide some of those better animations like it's showing in the demo video. So I would guess that this is relying on the new Apple Watch or Watch SDK 2 or Watch OS 2 SDK. I gotta try to figure out what order those names go in. But
Watch SDK 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yes, something like that.
Break-in. I don't know. Anyway, so. Okay.
Yeah, I would guess that this is going to rely on that. But since that update's going out to everybody, it shouldn't be a problem.
And since we use Tinder a lot, we're going to have these on our Apple Watches, right?
Yeah.
That's the first app I'm gonna load on my Apple Watch.
Oh yeah. No, I don't. No. Yeah, all those dating sites.
Did you catch the first app I'm gonna load on my Apple Watch?
Yeah.
When I get it.
Yeah.
And anyway. So.
Yeah. Well, you'll need to, right? So.
Yeah.
So
I do expect myself to have an Apple Watch within the next year or two or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a necessity. It's being in wearable technology. We're gonna definitely have. I'm gonna eventually have a Moto 360 and eventually have an Apple Watch. But yeah, I'm just lazy and don't want to pay for it. I have to go buy it. I have to go buy this wearable technology, and then I have to go and buy this wearable technology to compare it. And I run out of money. I got to get my truck fixed first. My truck is broken. You want to fix my truck?
So, about this app anyway.
All right, let's talk about the app.
So, I think it's a really interesting idea of using the heart rate monitor to select something instead of instead of a swipe. However, a swipe is so quick and easy that it feels like it's more of the solution looking for a problem type thing.
Yeah.
Now, what I do want to say is I think that they could have a good use for this if they came out with some sort of date monitoring app where, hey, we're going to check your heart rate periodically throughout your date to see if we can give you any data on whether you're more excited, like if your heart rate's up a little bit more on this date. Again, I don't know if it's really necessary, but that seems a little more useful to me than okay, let me stare at this picture for 10 seconds and see if my heart rate goes up. And it's well, wouldn't you quickly be able to decide yes, no, yes, this person looks interesting, no, they don't. Is staring at them going to unleash some sort of subliminal attraction that you've got? Well, maybe, but it seems unlikely that in just a few seconds you would, it's you're not going to learn enough about this person just by staring at the picture for a few more seconds, but I'm no expert.
Yeah, I totally agree. It doesn't make sense. But then again, like I said, I'm not on Tinder. I don't know what this is like. And some my understanding is some of these people use this app as a quickie app or a one night stand. Yeah. So maybe that's I can get that person. That's kind of exciting. That could raise my heart rate right there. But yeah, you're right. It's like a picture is not the 1,000 words, and it would be if they had a video or something like that, and that person was talking about who they are and what they do, and giving them a 30 to 90 second window. I know a lot of millennials, as they call it, don't work in that type of world. They need 5 seconds and move on. But if they're willing to go the 90 seconds, that should raise their heart rate a little bit for Tinder to get a good solid result.
I like that idea too. If you had more content to be looking at for these 10 or 15 seconds as opposed to just the picture.
Yeah.
Maybe they're, you're kind of giving the person something to do while they stare at this picture.
Yeah.
It makes a little more sense. So yeah, I like that idea too of could it be a video or could it be showing you more information and, kind of as you read it, it's taking your heart rate. So
yeah. If it said, this girl is big into Minecraft, I'd be like, yeah, not really. Okay, no heart rate there. She's a musician. Ooh, that's cool. Or I don't know. Exactly. Things like that. So yeah.
Exactly.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Once again, this is not a target for us, and mainly because we don't own Apple Watches, but also because we don't. We've already got the people that raise our heart rates.
Hello.
Exactly. So you want to say something to your beautiful wife, Leighton, right now?
Oh, she never watches the show.
I don't care. Just say something.
I'm very excited about what the next year may bring. I don't know.
I'll do a little bit better than that. Jennifer, I love you.
Oh, yeah.
How's that? That works. So,
that's all
anyway. All right, let's move on from there. Well, actually, that's it for this part of the show. It's big news. Little armies. Looked like you were getting ready to throw up or something like that.
I kind of felt like that. I kind of felt like that. Well, I like to kind of muffle it, and then so it's. I don't know. I don't really know if that helps or not.
So we had a great 4th of July weekend. We went on a small little vacay. Went down to see Jennifer's sister and brother-in-law, saw the nephews and nieces, and then left them because we can do that, and that's pretty cool. Nothing wearable this week. Problems with my truck. I kind of wear that every now and then. It more wears me than I wear that. But other than that, we were under the hood on Friday fixing the truck. And then I did talk to a few people about wearables this weekend. It was down there at the parties, and his dad actually was using his Pebble to count steps and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. Got to see the new Pebble Steel once again. So that's always a cool little device right there. But that's it pretty much for me. Do you have a fun 4th of July?
Yeah, it was great. I spent a lot of time with my beautiful wife because I had the Friday before off, and went to a few different little July 4th things, saw some fireworks, tried to watch them from the house, but there's some trees in the way, so the big show near us is not real visible. But we found some other fireworks. They do. I don't know if they do this in Madison a lot. There's actually a bunch of shows like on the 2nd, and then there's a whole bunch on the 3rd, and then a bunch on the 4th. So you can kind of go see fireworks for a couple nights in a row if you're willing to kind of go to a different parts of town.
The townships. Well, first of all, Madison. We used to have a thing called Rhythm and Booms, which was the Midwest's largest fireworks show. But then they couldn't fund it anymore, so they turned it.
Big shows are expensive.
Yeah, it's like $150,000.
Oh yeah.
Plus. And I did a video. I completely forgot about the video until somebody reposted it on July 4th. I did a thing about fireworks and what's in them. And there's radium in fireworks with color. And it's not much to hurt anybody, but that does get in the lake. And through time, that could become a problem. So they end up switching it between our 2 lakes every now and then. But they had Shake on the Lake like last week. And then all the towns and cities and stuff like that have to figure out when the other town or city is having their fireworks. So so if this town's right next to this town, they're not both having fireworks on the 4th. Yeah. So this town will have it on the 3rd. This will have it on the 4th. We saw some private fireworks on the 5th at some of the farms, and those are really cool because they just pop up. They're random, and we're out in the country, so we got to see some really cool shows, and of course the 4th was on the lake, and that was pretty awesome too.
Very nice. Yeah lake fireworks, being able to see that with the reflections and stuff.
Exactly.
Been able to go to a couple of shows like that. The ones we watched, we were on like this little tiny man-made pond. It wasn't really a lake, but it's always pretty neat seeing them out over the water. So very cool. This wasn't man-made. This is Lake Michigan that we were watching. Oh, I see. Yes.
So but other than that, pretty good weekend for you?
Yeah, nice long weekend, pretty relaxing. Real good actually.
All right. Yeah, let's move on then. Got nothing to talk about. We're just going to sit here like this.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Too late. Anyway. All right, well, since we're not talking about anything, let's talk about something. Let's talk about our deals over at wearabletoday.com/deals. You want to get yourself your own wearable over at wearabletoday.com/deals. Let me call up the page really quick. wearabletoday.com/deals. It's over on Amazon, of course. And, of course, if you go through that link, wearabletoday.com/deals, lowercase d, by the way. Some people have tried the uppercase d. And that'll get you there. I'll probably switch that up so it can do uppercase d as well. Basically, like, for instance, right here, the Moto 360, $127. Dubs, which I talked about last week, I got a pair right here. They're now at $18. So, and there's the Misfit Shine, and that's at $55. That's new one. Misfit's coming out with a new Misfit. It's found out today, so that's pretty cool. So, but you can get some great gear. Here's the June UV monitoring. I interviewed this company Netimo at TechCrunch Disrupt New York last year, and really cool jewelry. It's a wearable device, Bluetooth connected. So if you want some technology and figure out your tracking and stuff like that, but don't want to wear a wearable like that, you can have some jewelry, go from there. So wearabletoday.com/deals. Of course, once again, it supports the show, so thank you very much. And of course, if you want to support the show even more, go over to the YouTube page, youtube.com/This Week in Glass. I can't change it to Wearable Today, unfortunately. Hopefully someday I'll be able to do that. You'll just search for Wearable Today. Go to the right side. There's a big donate button. Press that. Give us $1,000. I think $4,000 to get my truck repaired. $4,000. So if you want to do that, get my truck repaired.
That's no fun.
I'm bracing for the worst. It's a small squeak, and it's there's possibility it's transmission. So we replaced the serpentine belt on Friday, and it caused more problems. My power steering just stopped working.
Oh, no.
So, and the original squeak's still there. So we'll see what happens, but we'll get it figured out. But if you want to donate, maybe donate a new truck to me. Hey, that's cool. Well, that'll work too. So, you want a new truck?
Do I want a new truck?
You just got a new car, didn't you?
Yeah, almost a year ago. Yes.
Okay. Well, it's new to me.
Yeah. Mine died about a year ago. Like my old car died about a year ago, so that's been fun.
There you go. So, anyway. Yeah. We'll have funeral services later on. So, all right. Well, that's pretty much that. Well, let's move on to the focus of the day. And I don't have a website to coincide with this, but last week we talked about universities starting to look into, and apparently Australia is doing this. United States are looking into policies and procedures on wearing wearables while you are in class, and this mostly for test taking, but there might be situations where you might walk into class and there's a pop quiz, and you're wearing this wearable, and that might be a factor of cheating and stuff like that. We talked a little bit about this, but looking a little bit farther down the line, if you're going into different professions like being a CPA, going in for law or medical, other high-end tests and events, and more than just tests. Do you have to start wearing your wearable at home, or leaving your wearable at home, and keeping it here let me redo that. So you might want to leave your wearable at home, yet some will still try to wear their wearables to maybe cheat. It's possible. Even as these devices get invisible, how do we make sure something doesn't get used as an advantage? And it's still cheating? I mean, there was a point where I remember when calculators were banned, and then all of a sudden teachers started letting kids use calculators in little bits and pieces. Scientific calculators were still banned, but then you could use the little your watch or your phone calculators. I even talked to my friend Gordon, who is a podcaster and a law podcaster. I asked him, "Hey, do they allow wearables in courts?" And he goes that he told me that a lot of courts banned the use of cameras for a while. Smartphones were also a problem because security staff at the court viewed them as prohibited equipment. However, those restrictions are mostly a thing of the past. Some people use tablets nowadays as for all their information right on the tablet, and of course those things have cameras. And there have been devices like Google Glass inside the courtroom, but it's really the judge's opinion to object to the use of things like Google Glass in the courtroom. But there are there's quite a few instances where cameras are banned from the interior of a courtroom when proceedings are underway, mainly to avoid prejudice to the parties and unnecessary influencing of the potential juror pool. So, even a juror, that's a perfect example. The juror they can't be wearing a wearable, playing their Clash of Clans or figuring out their heart rate from Tinder or something like that. This is where we come in. It's like, when can you take your wearable in? When do you have to leave your wearable at home? And especially, like I said, with universities, these kids shouldn't be wearing those types of wearables anyway. It's too expensive for them. They're buying ramen and Apple Watches.
Yeah, you'd probably be surprised. There's probably a lot of Apple Watches and ramen on campuses these days.
That's true.
Although maybe not right now because it's summertime, but in the fall.
Yeah.
in the fall.
Yeah.
There'll probably be a bunch of freshmen coming on where the Apple Watch was their graduation gift from, high school, of like, hey,
That's
you're going
true.
to college, here's an Apple Watch, because, that's really going to help you with your college stuff. It's like,
Here's an Apple Watch. Here's a box of ramen.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
It's like,
what are your thoughts on that?
So I think it's true. I think it's like a lot of the stuff, like you kind of mentioned too. A lot of this stuff gets banned really early because people aren't even sure what it is, and they're not really sure, or they hear, oh, I heard that watch can scan the whole room and take pictures of everything, and it's like, well, no, it can't. But okay, so let's ban them, and so they do all of this stuff, and so I think there'll be this preemptive misunderstanding and banning of devices everywhere. Like you said, calculators were at one point banned, and they probably still are.
Oh yeah.
In like you're taking
First
a
grade.
multiplication. No, you're taking a multiplication test in like elementary school.
Yeah.
Okay, you cannot have a calculator because the whole point of the test is to see if you know multiplication and if you can do it by hand, like if you don't have a calculator, simple math.
Yeah.
When you get into advanced courses, okay, being able to do the simple math, you've already proven you can. Now we just don't want you to have to spend as much time doing that, and you need to be thinking about the hard part of the problem.
Yeah.
You kind of said, you raised a really interesting point about, well, what about, Google and stuff? Like, aren't they, like they let people use Google for things, but, how do you know that you couldn't just, or I guess what you said was really after they get out in the real world, you'll be able to just look up all this stuff on Google. And that is very true. Like I use Google all the time at work doing software development because you're always looking up, what is this called? What's this thing? How do I use How do I program this part? What's the Bluetooth like? How do I use the maps? And you have to Google stuff. It's like you're not expected to memorize everything.
Yeah.
However, there is a certain base amount of knowledge that you want people to have where they don't have to look it up and they don't have to just, I know nothing. I basically know how to Google everything. And it's like, well, that's a good skill, but that doesn't mean you should never learn anything. You should never learn how to spell because I've got autocorrect. It's like, well, that's, there's a certain aspect of that you could argue is true because you don't need to learn how to, or maybe you don't need to learn every single word. You're like, well, I know it's something like this. Okay, it helped me out. But you need to know approximately how it's spelled because otherwise it won't be able to help you. It'll be like, do you mean this word? And you're like, I think that's the right word. And it's like, no, that's completely the wrong word. And so,
well, and on that, you could go up to your grammar teacher and go, how do you spell this word? And then the teacher goes, beep, beep. Siri, how do you spell this word?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think people would get, I think you'd lose your job as an English teacher if you had that happen to you. So
yeah, there's certain base skills that you kind of expect people to know, and so I think that's where it'll end up is that you won't be allowed those things because they don't want you to be able to cheat on the easy stuff. Yeah. It's not so much that they're worried about you using it and oh, you're going to cheat or or that they're I don't know if there's a better way to say it. There probably is, but it's that kind of thing. You can't Google during a test, like during a history exam. They don't let you use Google but isn't it all there? Won't I just be able to Google if I wonder, this? It's like, well, yes, you will be able to use that. But for this test, we wanted you to learn this stuff at least to a basic level so that we know that you can learn it and that you can understand it and that you've at least learned it well enough, to regurgitate for a test. The whole idea of, education system, like that's a much bigger topic that I could go into. Does that mean our whole education system needs to be reworked? Probably. Like there's probably certain aspects to it now that, our current education system was designed around this idea of, books are very rare. It is very hard to find information. You need to learn this information because looking it up in a book is hard. You don't have many books at home. You can go to a library and look things up in the card catalog. But now it's like, why do I don't need to know any of that. I can just Google, everything. Or Bing it or Yahoo or, search engine of choice or the next big search engine or whatever. Siri it. You can just Siri it. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So but our entire education system is based around memorizing knowledge because it's not always easily accessible. So
exactly.
maybe, so I don't think that.
Yeah, maybe we should start rethinking, because I was starting to think, well, eventually the wearable is going to be inside. I'm going to eventually, a few years down the road, I'm going to be wearing contacts that have some sort of wearable technology in them. And in the case of, like we were talking about a year ago with Google Glass, people going into the movie theater with them, it was a tough thing because they were going into the movie theater with Google Glass on, but they were also their pair of glasses, and it's not like they could just take them off. Same thing here is I could have like a wearable patch right here that I could use to cheat with, send me vibrations and Morse code or something like that, and then some sort of contacts that will flash stuff up on the screen or something like that, and nobody will know that I'm wearing that wearable technology, and I could be cheating right away. So how do you prevent stuff like that? I mean, that's years down the road. Right now.
Yeah, but not that many years down the road.
That's true.
It's not so far away that you're like, well, that's for our kids and grandkids to figure out. It's like
there is no such thing as kids and grandkids. And we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. It's like tomorrow somebody could just 3D print something up, and it's like, oh, good, that's just changed everything there.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that far away. So I think that this is a really interesting topic as far as how wearables are going to really change the world, because people think about them as, oh, well, they could cheat on a test. It's like, but if I always have that information at a moment's notice, like now it is so convenient to get that information. Why do you test me on that?
Exactly.
Who was the first president of the United States? It's like, well, I could memorize that, or I know that I can just look it up. And if it's not relevant, like I need to know that information, like, for my daily life of like, okay, I'm at a stoplight. Okay, now wait. Green means if the first president was George Washington, I go, but if it's Abraham Lincoln, I stop. It's like that's not how it works. Like that information doesn't help you make decisions throughout the day. It's kind of it's a good factoid and it's good information to have at some point, but you don't really need to know that to just like go about your daily life. So it's this argument of, why are we testing kids on that if they can look it up? Like, it's good that they hear it, and you want to make it so they know it, so they have some knowledge. But like, is it that important to make sure they know it for a test?
I think it's important simply because of the fact that there's going to be a Facebook post on it one of these days, and it says that 33% of Americans can't
name the first president.
Yeah, the state capitals or something like that, and then you're going to feel stupid because it's on Facebook, and it's like, I should have known. I should have been part of that other 77%.
Yeah, I saw this quote on Facebook. It had the picture of the person, and it said, don't believe everything you read on the internet. Abraham Lincoln. And I was just like, he makes a good point. He makes a really good point.
Yeah, he had wooden teeth too, so it really didn't matter.
So I mean, if you quote a president, if one of our old presidents is saying you can't believe everything on Facebook, then I would tend to believe him. So
yeah, it's what country are we living in? I don't know.
I don't know.
Google,
what country is this?
Yeah. Okay, where is it? Okay, here we go. Siri, what country do I live in?
Here is what I found.
See, Siri doesn't even know. She has to go to Wikipedia. A country is
I don't know.
Yeah, she goes, a country is a region identified as a distinct entity in political geography. I still don't know what. I mean, okay, did you mean Georgia? Did you mean least developed country? No Country for Old Men, the film, or country music? I'm in the country of music. I don't know.
I'm in a state of insanity.
You're in a pretty good state. I do have to.
It's a nice place. I like it. Yeah, it's not very crowded.
Try the veal. It's awesome. So.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's a lot of uncharted territory that we're talking about when it comes to testing and knowledge and stuff like that. And it's really what you want to learn. I mean, I do the Day in Tech History podcast, and I learn a lot from that podcast. every single year I have to review the specific date. Like for instance, it was today. Jack Tramiel fired a lot of his Atari staff, and little bits, tidbits, and stuff like that. I wouldn't have been able to tell you if I wouldn't have created it myself. So learning has its possibilities. I'm just saying that. So, and other than that, we just sleep all day and play all night, I suppose. So. Anyway, any closing thoughts on that?
I think it's very big. I think, without major revolutions in our education system and learning mechanics that we use in throughout all of our society, I think that if we assume that none of that stuff will change, which I think it will eventually, but if we assume none of it will change, you're going to see wearable technology. Yes, initial reaction is going to be keep it out, and then it'll be let in some sort of minor way. But probably, much like cell phones are, is we've kind of gotten to a point where everyone understands the possibilities of a cell phone.
Yeah.
And so it's like, now they are allowed in courtrooms. Please have them off. Please have them in your pocket on vibrate or turned off, because we don't want them to be a distraction almost more than anything else. It's not so much about they're worried about you taking pictures, because they'll probably be able to see that.
Yeah.
If they don't and it gets released, you can get charged with some crime probably.
Yeah.
So they're not too worried about it. But
mistrial or something like that.
Yeah, and there'll be some repercussions of it. But it's more about the distraction of it. And so I could see wearables being turned off. And so what I'm waiting for is the movie previews, at the end saying, please turn off your cell phones, right? And they show a cell phone. Now it'll be, please turn off your cell phone and wearables and watches or whatever. Like right now they just say cell phones. You're like, I've still got my watch. Yeah.
Actually, it says, please turn off all electronic devices.
Oh, really?
Or put them on mute.
Oh.
I think that's what AMC does.
I think I've mostly just seen the cell phone ones. I'm gonna have to look for that.
Yeah. Well, they show a big cell phone because it makes most sense. But they word it electronic devices. So and AMC was doing this thing with these little dots that were little characters and stuff like that. And there was a robot dot, and they said turn off your electronic devices, and somebody walked over and pressed the button, and the little robot goes like
makes
that.
Sense. Makes sense. So,
but most important, turn off your electronic devices during this episode of Wearable Today. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. So, all right. Well, what can they do, Luke? Where can they find you?
Oh, so if you've got an electronic device and it has the Twitters on it, you should Twitter me or tweet me at Luke Luca, Luke @
You forgot already.
Yeah, the little A with the circle around it. Use that thing.
Yeah.
And then do that Luke Luca, Lukeluca, or email me for this show using your favorite electronic mail provider. Make sure to add 2 stamps if you send an attachment, so it gets all the way to me. And email me at luke@wearabletoday.com. Not .org.com.
Okay.
The com is for commercial.
Commercial, yes. And I can be found over at Geekazine. At Geekazine. You need 4 stamps from me because you need to send a self-addressed stamped envelope.
That's true.
Back to me. And geekazine@gmail.com, Jeff@wearabletoday.com, Luke@wearabletoday.com, Birdie@wearabletoday.com, you@wearabletoday.com. You want to be part of the show. We're still looking for some bloggers. Marco's working on some articles, and we're going to have them on some future episodes here. And we've got a lot of cool stuff. Little show note, next week we are not going to have a show. I am going to be having fun in the sun. We'll just put it that way. So have a little bit of fun. We're taking a small mini vacation next week. And having a little bit of fun with that. So we'll be back in about 2 weeks. Unless, Luke, you want to do a show, more than welcome to do a show if you want to.
We'll see. If there's people out there watching and you want to see a solo Luke show, or if you want to be on the show, let me know. We can run wild with Jeffrey Powers out of the office. So if
you want to be part of the show, press 1 now. If you don't want to be part of the show, press 2 now. Okay. All right. Well, that does it for
Well,
this
I didn't
episode.
hear anybody, so yeah.
Well, you know, it's give it some time. Give it some
Yeah,
time.
give it some time. We'll see. So yeah.
All right. I think we're trying to extend the show to the top of the hour. Anyway, let's end it here. Nix it right here. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. You guys geek out. We'll see you next time in 2 weeks for episode number 78 of Wearable Today. Goodbye. Splat.